This time on the Families Matter Most podcast.
It's the thoughts, it's the emotions that keep us stuck. Those are the reasons that, we're raiding the pantry and eating all the cookies. It's our thoughts, it's our feelings. There are no emotions. That cookie, that brownie, that ice cream does not love you. It doesn't. It has no feelings towards you, and yet we associate it as if it does. What's going on for you?
Every time Jen Dean speaks, I can see hope, knowledge, expertise, wisdom, and love.
When Jen Dean speaks about parenting, we make sure that we are there to listen because we know we will get valuable advice.
Families Matter Most with Jen Dean.
She doesn't just give skills for us to be better parents, but she teaches us how to reach our children's hearts. And at the end of the day, that's what truly matters.
Well, we have another case study for you today. Have you been liking the case study series? I've been hearing really great feedback from it. I'm loving that you are hearing yourself. You are picking things up that you can apply in your own life. And you're seeing that it's possible. Change is hard, but you can do it. You don't have to live this way. You don't have to feel this way. We can change. This time, podcast number 82, we're going to hear about Jenna, who really wanted to lose weight. So this is, I believe, the third or fourth in this series. Last time we talked about Tara, who was a self-identified control freak. She was a micromanager. She had a hard time letting go of control. She took things personally. She felt really frustrated and angry. She felt like she was always kind of on the edge. And you know what? We got her some help and we made some changes. Her life is completely different now. So if you haven't, go back and listen to podcast number 81. Today, it's about trying to get healthy, trying to lose weight. Jenna said it's so hard to lose the weight. She had lost weight so many times before. When she was younger, she liked to work out. She would go to exercise classes. And if she wanted to lose some weight, it was so much easier back then. Was it this way for you? She could just kind of give up carbs and sugar or severely restrict them. The pounds would just melt away. She hasn't had any kind of diagnosed eating disorder, but Jenna says she has put herself on some pretty extreme calorie restrictions in the past to lose weight. And it's worked for her until now. One time she lost 40 pounds doing the keto diet. That's when you severely restrict the amount of carbs that you're eating and you put yourself kind of into ketosis, into a bit of a survival mode, and your body will eat up fat and you will lose fat and lose weight. However, it is pretty severe. And I'm not sure that it's actually super manageable, and studies are not good on sustainability. It's hard to hold to that. So yeah, she lost 40 pounds a few years ago. She loved it at the time, but she couldn't keep so strict. She just couldn't maintain it. She couldn't sustain that. And over time, the weight crept back and it brought friends. So now she'd like to lose 50 pounds. Does this sound familiar to you? I see this all the time. I've helped so many clients through this. I've had some experience with this too. When I was younger, it was just so much easier. The stuff that worked, you've heard me say this, the stuff that worked in your 20s will not work now. It doesn't work now. You are not the same. So number one, we talked about what are reasonable goals. What is reasonable at this stage in life? Because we always go back to the clothes we used to wear. And maybe you've got a pair of skinny jeans in your closet from 20 years ago before you had kids. Is that reasonable? And I would lovingly say, no, it's not. Your hips are never going to be the same again. Just never. It just is not going to be exactly the same. I heard this somewhere and I stole it and I use it now. And I think it's enlightening. I want you to think of yourself as not a princess anymore. You're not a princess. You're a queen. And you act differently, you dress differently. You're not about wearing the bikini on the beach anymore. You are not looking to fit into a size 4 or a size 6. It is not the same. You need to hold yourself differently now. we need to release ourselves from the goals of our youth. So this was a big conversation of really looking at these goals. And what's going to help you do that is step number 2. Jenna and I worked on her why, like capital WHY. Why? Why do you want to lose weight? Why? To do hard things, we all need to have a clear picture of why we're doing them. Why are we going to say no to the donuts at work when we're tired and they look really good? Why are we going to say no to that giant piece of birthday cake when we don't want to hurt someone's feelings? Jenna wanted to have more energy. She wanted to be able to go on hikes with her kids. She wanted to feel comfortable in her skin, and not always be fiddling with your clothes and pulling your shirt down. And every time you sit down feeling like, I got to readjust because things are sticking out in a way I don't like. I don't want that for you. I don't want that for Jenna. She didn't want that. She wanted to be comfortable in her own skin. She wanted to stop being so self-conscious. She wanted to just live her life, just enjoy it. And I'm 100% with that. Our why is not the same. Maybe when you were 22, the why was to fit a certain dress, to look good in a bathing suit, to go on a holiday. I don't know. I don't know what your whys were in your 20s, but it's not the same now, right? None of us have the same goals, and we shouldn't. Now we are queens. We're not a princess anymore. We are a queen. So you need to have a reasonable goal. And then what's going to help you to do that is figure out your why. Why? Why? Are you in a lot of pain? Do your knees hurt a lot? If so, then losing some weight will probably help with that. It'll help you to be able to play on the floor with your kids or your grandkids. That's a really great why. We can work with that. You need to know your why because change is hard. What worked in your youth will not work now. Your bodies, your lifestyles are completely different. You can't just cut calories anymore. You can't work out for 3 hours a day. Remember the old days when you could just say, yeah, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm just going to spend every evening there? No, you have other priorities and responsibilities. I know that. We cannot treat it the same as we used to. So we need to hack the system. You need to focus on weights. So Jenna had never really done weights before. We had to kind of get used to that. If you're in your 30s or older, you are losing muscle by default. It's not fair, but there is something that happens. You are losing muscle mass every year. And now that's going to, cause your body to look differently in those clothes. You're going to be a little bit more flabby unless you are actively building muscle. Does that make you angry? Does that make you sad? Because it doesn't have to be so bad. It's not that hard. Walking more. Walking is huge. You've probably heard me share about that. Walking is great because it doesn't induce more cravings. If you do some crazy HIIT, P90X, something, afterwards what tends to happen is there's more cravings. You feel like you deserve that cheeseburger now because you just did that crazy hard workout. The problem is, you worked out, but not enough for that cheeseburger. You worked out enough for maybe an apple. I know that's not what you wanted to hear. So walking is great because it loses calories. It builds some muscle in your lower body for sure. And it doesn't actually incite more cravings. Short bursts of cardio HIIT training are excellent. It's been proven to not give you this as much, hopefully, as many cravings as going for like a 60-minute run. Let's be honest. Who can do that anymore? I can't do that. So HIIT training is really good. That stands for high intensity interval training. We worked together, Jenna and I, figuring out some things that she liked to do. And that's key. That is key. Find something that you like to do. Don't do what your coworker does. Don't do necessarily what I say to do. You have to find something that you kind of like at the very least so that you will learn to like it more and more as you build success in it. So maybe try boxing, go for swims, but we want to do short bursts of cardio. And that could be as simple, starting out, as for 10 seconds, you're going to do it as hard, as fast as you can. So if it's riding a bike, you're going to try for a 10-second burst of all out maximum effort. or maybe 15 seconds, and work your way up to 30 seconds, 45 seconds, 60 seconds. And you can try 60 seconds on, hardcore, as hard as you can, and then 60 seconds kind of reduce. So it's not stopping. It's not stopping completely in the rest time, but it's like a recovery. So it's reduced. You slow down. This could be dancing. This could be running on the spot. This could be wrestling with your kids. You could have a little timer that says, okay, for 15 seconds, we're going to wrestle. And then for 15 seconds, we're just going to breathe, move around a little bit, and then back on for 15 seconds. We can get creative here. We can hack the system to find something that you like that you can do. So we need some resistance training. We need weights. We need some short bursts of cardio. Walking more makes a huge difference. And then the last thing is eating more protein. I get it. I am not really a fan of protein. And this is one that I fought for a long time until I got a coach, and that coach really pushed me to get 150 grams of protein a day. Now, this became my whole life, was figuring out how to eat more protein. And can I eat it at every snack? Can I get it at every meal? What can I do to increase the protein? And he was right. I have to say, he was right. I did build more muscle. It was easier for my body to create the muscle because it had the protein there. So if you're going to do the weights and you're going to do the walking and you're going to do the cardio, let's give it that final piece so that you can build that muscle mass. And what's really interesting about that is you'll find that the scale may not move as quickly as you'd like, but you'll start to feel differently. You'll start to fit your jeans better. Things will not be as flabby. They will feel tighter. You will feel like you don't have to be, tucking you're pulling your shirt out so much. And so the scale becomes less and less important, and it becomes more about feeling strong, more about feeling comfortable in your own skin. I love everything about that. Jenna and I experimented. This is why it's great to have a private coach, because we can figure this out together. She tried some different things until she found something she liked. And you know what it was? Zumba. Jenna loved Zumba. I love Zumba. It's kind of dancey. It's short bursts of cardio. It's a 60-minute class, but I think you can find 30-minute classes too. There's online, you can find YouTube ones. You can just do it at home. If you're like, man, no, I don't want to do this in public. You can do it at home. You can try some things out. She experimented and she's really loving Zumba. So she did it at home, just on regular YouTube videos, until she was ready to sign up for a live in-person class, which she loved. And then we added in some walking and some weights. And it wasn't hard weights. We start off manageable. I'd rather build on a win. So don't listen to this and say, okay, yeah, I'm going to work out, lift weights for an hour and go for a walk and do the Zumba and go swimming and be all super hardcore. No, you know what's been proven to be more successful is baby steps. One is what's the next little thing you can do? So instead of 90 minutes of weights tonight when you've never really done it in a long time, we're going to start with maybe 10 or 15 minutes. And it's going to be manageable weights. It's going to be light weights. It's not going to feel that hard. So everyone can exhale. Drop your shoulders. This is absolutely 100% manageable. Okay, so that was number 3, is what to do. We have to hack the system. And I've got lots of creative ways to do it. We will find a way. I don't care how busy you are, how crazy your life is, how many people you have depending on you. You matter too. And we will find a way to make it fit for you. I have helped people do a workout in the bathroom. I have helped people do a workout in their bedroom before bed. I've helped people do something for 10 minutes here and 10 minutes there. It is 100% possible. We can hack the system. I get it. I'm busy too. We have to fit it in. So that's number 3. Number 4, there are 5 steps here, so we're almost done. Number 4, the easy part is losing the weight. Did you hear me say that? The easy part is losing the weight. You can lose the weight. In fact, you probably have. You probably have lost the weight. The issue isn't losing the weight. The issue is keeping it off. That's the hard part, is keeping it off. And studies have shown that when we don't do it slowly and we don't do it from the inside out, meaning becoming a healthier person, dealing with the emotional cravings, dealing with why we want to eat the ice cream late at night, what's going on, when we don't deal with that, then it is really hard to sustain it. The number one deterrent to keeping weight off is emotional cravings, triggers. That's what it is. Emotional eating, cravings, and triggers. It's emotional. There's a reason. So for Jenna, this is part of her story. She craved sweets when she was upset. She remembers raiding her kids' Halloween bags and stealing her favorite chocolate bars after one of the kids had a temper tantrum. And we talked about that and we kind of picked it apart and broke it down. And what we realized that for her, it was conflict she hated. And the problem was there's no win here, because maybe you can hear yourself in this. For Jenna, if she lost her temper, if she yelled at her kids, she'd be mad at herself and eat the candy. But if she kept calm and dealt with the situation, kept her cool, she would still eat the candy, but to comfort herself, because that was so hard. It was so hard to stay calm like that. Life is so hard. Jenna couldn't handle uncomfortable feelings. It's all about the emotions. When are you drawn to emotional eating? Whether it's cravings, triggers, when you've had a really bad day, do you want to comfort yourself? When you've had a really good day, do you want to reward yourself? Do you tell yourself, well, what do I get? I did so good today. I should get a treat. I should get a reward. Well, doesn't that sound a whole lot like a little kid in a grocery store? When we talked about it, we realized that for Jenna, this was the issue. She was uncomfortable in her feelings and she wanted to stuff them down. She wanted to do something to distract herself from them. And when we talked about it, we realized that this was a pattern for her since her childhood. For example, if she would be lonely or hurt, angry or upset, her grandma, who she loved, would give her a hug, would console her, comfort her, and say, come on, let's go have a cookie. Oh, do you see what's happened here? She loves her grandma. Her grandma's loving and sweet and was so good to her. She loves cookies. And now they're both kind of mashed together in this cookie grandma love. Cookie grandma love, right? So now the cookie means love, like the grandma meant love. They're all kind of intertwined. She's been practicing comforting herself with food, with sweets, with cookies, with candy, with cake, with donuts. She's been mixing it in with the love of her grandma. Do you do this? I mean, really think about this. What are you getting from that bowl of ice cream? What are you getting from that treat? You tell yourself, oh, it's been a really hard day. I'm just going to eat this brownie. So you eat it. What are you getting from it? Does it have any emotion? Because we know it's an inanimate object. There are no emotions. That cookie, that brownie, that ice cream does not love you. It doesn't. It has no feelings towards you. And yet we associate it as if it does. What's going on for you? Do you do this? Jenna, this was her light bulb moment of, oh, I see that every time if I want comforting, if I want consoling, if I want a pat on the back and someone to say, good job, you did awesome, I love you, I'm mixing that in. What I really want is the love. What I really want is that comfort, that console, that pat on the back, that cheer. But I'm trying to get it from food. And of course, it's not working. So instead of doing something differently, I'm just trying to get it from more food. Do you do this? This was Jenna's light bulb. This was her aha. So recognizing it is huge. We then spent some time looking for how it's, lurking. How's that sneaked into her life? And we see it everywhere. We see it when she's tired. She wants energy. Let's have some sugar. When she's upset, if she gets into a fight or if she's angry at someone, anytime she's uncomfortable, there's a conflict, there's hurt, she's angry, she wants some sweets. And just recognizing that, hey, you know what? That candy isn't going to make me feel better. it's actually not emotional at all, that Candy does not love me like my grandma did, right? That helped to reduce it for her. So step 5, Jenna practiced letting that uncomfortable emotion be there. This is so much harder than it sounds. So much harder. It was painful for her. It was rough, but it wasn't as bad as she thought it would be. The feeling lasted for her less than 20 minutes, and then it would go away. So if she could catch it, and if she could just acknowledge, hey, I'm feeling lonely, I'm avoiding conflict, I'm angry that I lost it on my kids, or I'm angry that somebody, talked to me this way, or I'm, proud of myself for staying calm and dealing with the situation and staying in the conflict and doing it well. She practiced just letting that uncomfortable emotion be there and not feeling like she had to distract herself from it. The feeling lasted less than 20 minutes. Now, it is easier said. It is so much better to work with a coach in this, but you can start this on your own. It might feel like 2 steps forward and 1 step back, but over time, you will get more and more comfortable in your own skin. Over time, you will learn how to let that emotion sit there, and you will build evidence that, it's not so bad. It goes away quickly. You will learn how to coach yourself through those painful feelings and be kind to yourself in the process. Unfortunately, Jenna's grandma isn't here anymore, but she could remember how grandma treated her. She could remember the lessons and the character and the love that grandma showed her, and she could practice coaching herself that way. She could practice talking to herself the way her grandma did, loving her own self the way her grandma did. And that has been really, really helpful. That has been comforting for her. So Jenna has done the work. The cravings and emotional eating has dissipated. So therefore, keeping weight off has been so much easier, right? She wasn't having the late night binges. She wasn't sneaking into the pantry to raid the kids' Halloween bags. She wasn't finding herself, spontaneously in the drive-thru getting that burger and fries because she's had, a busy day. She's done the work. So she's lost weight, not as quickly as she did in her 20s, but it is staying off, and she feels good about it. She feels good about herself. She's learning how to be a healthy person that is good and kind to herself. She's coaching herself through. She's letting those emotions sit there and dealing with them with me. And that's why I added in life coaching to health coaching, because it's the thoughts, it's the emotions that keep us stuck. Those are the reasons that, we're raiding the pantry and eating all the cookies. It's our thoughts, it's our feelings. Can you see yourself in Jenna's story? Her weight loss has been phenomenal. And I see a total transformation in her life. She is excited about her future. She feels like this is sustainable. 100%. She can just keep doing what she's doing, and it feels good. She is maintaining her weight loss. She's keeping it off, and she is just rocking it. She is more comfortable in her own skin. She is more confident in her success, and I am just thrilled for her. I'm cheering her on. I see a total transformation from the inside out. So if you can hear yourself in any of Jenna's story, then start with the steps that I'm giving you. But I need to tell you that if you can have a private coach like myself to guide you through this process, it is so much better. You will get results quicker. You will have the accountability, and I can help you see the things that maybe you can't see. So if you want to live a healthy lifestyle and stick to it, if you want to be able to lose weight and keep it off, to sustain it, if you want to deal with the negative thoughts that maybe keep you feeling self-conscious, if you want to learn to be kind to yourself and comfortable in your own skin, then reach out, book a free strategy call, because I want to help you be successful in that. Next time, we're going to learn from Amanda and Tim and their 9-year-old daughter, Rach, who was struggling with lying. They were completely at the end of their rope. Nothing was working to stop the lying. We uncovered what was behind it and found a solution. If you haven't yet, be sure to go back and listen to the previous podcasts in this case study series. So number 81 is about Tara. who I mentioned at the beginning, a self-proclaimed control freak, and how she learned to be less critical and enjoy the journey. Deep breath, everyone. Oh, so good for Tara. Number 80, the one before, is about where limiting thoughts sneak in and how they affect us now. So why do we even need to talk about our past anyway? So we dig into that, and I share some of my own past and what I learned about my own thoughts and feelings and how they were sneaking in to affect me and my parenting even now. These podcasts are examples of the kind of freedom my clients experience in all areas of their life. So if any of these stories resonate with you, it's time. It's time for you to work on yourself. So I want you to click a link in the show notes of this podcast to book a free strategy call, and let's have an honest conversation. Lastly, would you do me a favor? Referral is the number one way that Families Matter Most has grown to 60,000 podcast downloads. That is so cool. I am so grateful. Please share this free resource to your community. Share it out. Email the link. Send a comment over social. I don't know. Take a screenshot. Post a 5-star review. Anything you can do to help us reach more parents will be amazing. I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for this community. Thank you so much for your support. So we'll see you again next week. We're going to talk about lying. And yes, it is possible to conquer this thing. Bye, guys.
Thanks for listening to the Families Matter Most podcast with Jen Dean, part of the Saskatchewan Podcast Network. If you are interested in contacting Jen for one-on-one parent coaching, for speaking engagements, or just to get a little more information, please visit our website, familiesmattermost.com.